Welcome back to the Black Woman Be Whole podcast. I am your host. My other host is here, Kim and Marquia, and we are Black women working on being whole. And it is hard working on being whole as Black women in 2022. But I'm here for it. We're here for it. So we are on episode number 7. We are on season 2. We're talking about money today. This episode is entitled Run Me My Money, I Need My Coins. It's tax season, so why not talk about money? But also, we all just need to be better with money. So why not start to talk about our relationship with money? But before we get into that, I always got to check on my girls. So ladies, what are y'all working on this week? What is going on in y'all life? Marquia, you want to start us off? What you working on, girl?
I think this week, oh, hey, y'all, by the way, I am working on accepting the pacing of my life, right? Lately, a lot of things have been happening where sometimes I have been comparing myself lately, like, oh, why am I not further along or why have I not done these things? But in doing that, kind of like overlooking all the things that I have done, am doing, and that's not fair. So just accepting the pacing of my life, being patient and understanding that things take time. And I may not get it right the first time or even the second or third, but everything is going to work out as it's supposed to when it's supposed to. So that's what I'm working on.
Very
I love
clear.
that.
I love
That's
it.
very
It feels like
good.
your mind is just very clear, right? And you're very intentional right now about what you're trying to do. I love that.
Thank you.
Kim, what you working on, girl?
I'm working on actually connecting with people in a different way. So I just realized I think the pandemic has kind of shifted me away from being in relationship with people in the way that I was used to. People that I thought I would be able to connect with on a deeper level, I haven't been able to. And so that's okay. But just trying to figure out how do I reconfigure relationships and connection. So spring, new relationships, let's do it. Be a different person. Let's be different together. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. I am working on the big B, boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. I think I am working on both boundaries in my professional life and my personal life. Um, I, for some reason, keep doing sessions on a Saturday. I don't want to do sessions on Saturday, y'all. I don't want to do sessions on Friday. I was supposed to only do sessions Monday through Thursday. However, have not been good with my boundaries around my time and my energy. So I am working on that. And we talk about money, boundaries around what type of money I will accept for my services. I am working on that. I realize that I don't need to just accept work to accept it. If you can't pay my fee, if you can't pay what I deserve after all of these years of schooling, um, after me being a therapist for 10 plus years, if you can't pay me my cash, I'm going to have to say no. And so I'm working on that coming out a little bit easier, the no. And I think it has a lot to do with my mindset of thinking in abundance and not scarcity, as if another job offer won't come across my table. And so working on having some real boundaries around, what I deserve, what I don't, and saying no to things I don't want to do in both my professional and my personal life. So boundaries are not always easy. A lot of us were not taught them at home. I am one person who was not. And I think in Black and brown households, a lot of us weren't taught that, right? It was kind of like anything goes. You weren't allowed to say no to things. So working on saying no has definitely been challenging. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So that's what I've been working on. Okay. I don't want to go too far in that because I'm already feeling hyped up when I'm talking about my money. So I know we're still trying to figure out like different things to kind of, talk about on the episode before, they're laughing, guys, because they still don't like this whole what is the craziest thing you read or saw this week. They're still trying to get used to it. But I think we like 4 weeks, 5 weeks and counting now. So I think my idea is going well. Until someone decides to change it, this is what we got. So
We're going to do the
ladies,
best we can with what we got.
that's right. So ladies, what's the craziest thing you read or saw this week? Kim, you want to start that off, or Marquia? Who's going to start us off this week?
I'll go.
Okay.
We've been, I think, dealing with this Oscars thing for like a week now. Personally, I don't really give a shit behind the why. More of my questions are like, no one thought, hey, why is Will Smith walking on this stage? This can't be good. Like, no one thought that was maybe problematic. And also just more so shocked that it actually happened. Like the fact that I saw Will Smith slap Chris Rock is more of the jarring piece for me. Like, I still can't believe that that actually happened versus like the think pieces and all of that. I don't know the backstory. I believe them niggas are friends. I know both of the niggas got more money than me. So it's not my business. It sounds very much like rich and man problems as opposed to my personal problem. But that is still a little bit wild that that actually happened.
It
Yeah,
is.
I think, and it's still going on. They're still talking about it. I mean, listen, I ain't that mad at the slap. When you see how the slap look, it looked like a bitch slap. It don't even look like a manly slap. Just thought to be funny or whatever. But I was like, wow, this is a lot of like energy around the slap. I'm over like the respectability thing about it. Like, dude, in front of white people, like, okay, we get it.
Oh, I'm so done with that shit. Like that whole piece about what this says about minorities, it don't say shit about me, you, or Marquia that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. We have to stop that. When one of us do something, it has to impact all of us. White people don't think like that. When one of them do something, it don't impact nobody else but that person. So enough. Talking about we showing out and we shouldn't be doing. No, people get upset. People have emotions. Allow them to have that. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock don't got shit to do with me as a black woman over here in New York City.
Right?
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Like, let that go.
Girl?
And that buying into that whole narrative that we are more violent. We are not more violent than anybody else. Let's think about who has colonized every place that they've ever visited. Raped and killed and pilgrimage people. It wasn't us.
All that. KKK
Enough.
girl, all of that.
Enough. Okay, let's be clear.
Mm.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, what you read, Ednesha? What you reading?
Yeah, I know I'm always reading some craziness, right? So I like the weird stuff. Y'all go for the other stuff. I'm gonna go for the weird stuff. So I read this article about this man's penis turning black, and he had like this foul smelling discharge after he injected it with cocaine.
Oh my God! What?
Yep, he was in the Bronx. 35-year-old man in the Bronx. He went to the ER. It was after like 3 days. He had injected cocaine into his penis. Mm-hmm.
Did it fall off? What Girl, what they doing out there? Stop doing drugs.
Right, let's say drugs.
Cocaine
Apparently,
is a hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Because I thought usually, like, if you lick cocaine, I don't know too much, that it numbs you. So what did he thought he was going to do to his penis? It was going to go straight to his bloodstream and get him super high, super quick?
Or maybe he was trying to like...
Is that the new Viagra that we don't know about, y'all? I'm going to have to do some research and come back and tell y'all next time.
Maybe the thought process was that he and his partner would like have a high experience together. I don't know.
Oh, Richard Pryor did that to Pam Grier. That's why she can have kids, right?
What the heck?
There was some weird shit. Yo, Richard Pryor was into some shit, man.
Oh, yes, he was.
I thought I read in the memoirs something. That's why she could have kids. Ooh, child. Ladies, check it out before it go in you. That's all I said.
Cocaine is one of the most dangerous drugs available.
Child.
Listen, we cannot. You know what? He tried to put that shit straight into the bloodstream, so it can cause gangrene. That's what happened.
Oh God!
When it's injected like straight into the blood vessel and it inflames, it can cause gangrene.
That's disgusting.
Basically, the death of the body tissue. So that's why it turned black.
That joint is gone.
Sorry. But the irony that the song that came out was black. Woo. The way that the universe said, yes, we agree. This is mess.
So the guy refused any surgery to cut away the dying tissue on his penis. So he was treated with a cocktail of strong antibiotics for 5 days. And then
You
more
want to
like,
be a eunuch.
yeah, he was like, nah, keep it all
You
in.
know what? Did he get a medical evaluation, a mental evaluation, something? Because what?
Yeah, they should have
They
called
need to
psych
follow up.
and had them come upstairs
Bellevue, come and
and
talk
do
to
an
him.
assessment.
I'm going on.
Listen, we out here. You know what? That just shows we out here trying to find a good time. Any way we can, y'all. I mean, can we just do it safely? Yeah.
It ain't
So I'm
that
always
crazy.
looking for that type of stuff, y'all. Just know that.
Yeah.
Like I read the like real wacky, crazy stuff. That's the
And
stuff I want.
I feel like it's kind of like settling. Like I do the rant kind of stuff because the shit I want to talk about next is a big rant, and I'm mad.
Go
Tell him
for
why you
it.
mad, son. Tell him
Tell him why you mad, son. Tell him why you mad.
Tell him why you mad, son. Okay, this tomfoolery of Lee Daniels finally forgiving Monique, or Monique finally forgiving him, or him apologizing. How many years later, after you done ruined this woman career, you and Tyler Perry, bad wig having in the production, Tyler Perry, who notoriously does not pay their people any money, Tyler Perry, and y'all blackballed her, and y'all lied on her name, and y'all messed up her coins,
Mm.
and now all of a sudden you want to apologize.
Did you say it was given 12 years a slave?
Yes.
And I hate to congratulate 50 Cent because I think he has something to do with it. 50 Cent is problematic, but
he's so problematic. But he was like, we need to bring Mo back. So I think he's gonna try and give her a part in one of his shows. Yes.
When I think about how they vilify this woman, and this is what upsets me too about us sometimes. We get on the gram, we get on the book, we start talking shit we don't know anything about. Now you doing think pieces, and go to your 9 to 5 and shut up. You don't know nothing about nothing. Be quiet or collect your check. What are you talking about? I mean, they tore Monique down in pieces like, oh, she this, she that, da 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 da. Like, what that got to do with her money? It's plenty of assholes that's millionaires. She can't be an asshole and still make money. Come on.
No, she can't be an asshole, still make money, and be a Black woman. Let's be clear about what she can't be. Now, you can be all those things and not be a Black woman, and it'll be fine.
Right.
I'd also like to throw in the
rapist. Shit.
I'd also like to throw in that she's a plus size Black woman that was loud and was, quote unquote combative and all these
come through with the intersectionality
and
of
quote
all
unquote
of that
ghetto.
Shit.
All these things.
Unapologetic. Leonard, looking at you, Leonard.
Oh, Leonard.
Saw him up.
Leonard.
That's why I'm not mad at Monique. Like, I'm mad that she hugged him, but I would have been like, yo, you owe me some money and I'm going to take you to court, restitution, because you vilified my name and you got me blackballed.
Just give it
and
slander.
Then I accept your apology after you pay me my coins. Money. Run me my money, Lee Daniels.
Very much.
And look at that segue, girl.
Money.
Segue,
Here
no
we
scooter.
Go back to money.
Exactly. Take it away, Ednesha.
So we're going to talk about money and Black women. We have to talk about inequalities. Like we can't start or finish or do anything without that. So Black women in the US are paid 38%, y'all, less than white men and 28% less than white women. And I think that that's important to note because it feels like it's ingrained in us that we have to work harder to, make the same amount of money when actually it really doesn't matter. Because of the gap, I can work as hard as I want to, but we still make 64 cents to the dollar? Or 63 cents, excuse me, to the dollar.
63
cents to the dollar. So I think that's still going to be an issue. And I think that there's these messages that society sends BIPOC people, not just Black women, around money. It can be super damaging. I feel like we are blamed for our spending decisions, right? Like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have that bag, or maybe you shouldn't have bought those shoes, or maybe you shouldn't have bought that. But like, it's ignoring the legacy of like housing and lending policies that discriminate against us, because that's how most people build generational wealth, is through buying homes. We've been shut out of that for a long time. And then the effect of costly double standards, right, on our parents. Listen, if we could go to work and just kind of look regular smegler, and that would be okay, maybe we wouldn't have to go out and buy bundles, because I got a couple bundles in here right now, y'all. We wouldn't have to buy bundles. I wouldn't I wouldn't have to buy expensive shoes and expensive suits and all of that. Maybe you guys would just accept me for who I was without all of the extra shit. But we have to put up the front. Like, we've been taught, that shit is ingrained in us, that we have to put up a front in order to be accepted.
Right.
And so that,
and
that
then you
front
think about tax season. Oh, don't go, go invest it. Don't buy Jordans and all this stuff. It's like, stop telling people what to do with their money, because that thing that people buy might make them happy, might take them out of funk. But right, they're trying to live up to a thing that is being pushed onto them. Like, you're not good enough if you don't look this way or have this thing. And so we're cycling through the community, this nonsense that is really detrimental to our well-being and longevity in terms of finances, because finances do have a mental health impact on us. When you can't pay a bill, you stress the fuck out.
Oh, yeah. I think that it's been ingrained in us that we got to be fly. Shit, being fly costs money. But why is that, right? Because we had to assimilate into society in order to be treated equally, which we still are not treated equally. But we try our best to look like them, right? To dress like them, to talk like them, hoping that they will accept us, and we're still not accepted. And we pay a price for that shit. And the price for that shit is in our bank accounts as well. There's a mental toll and a physical toll as well. But that shit is in your bank account as well, that toll. So, when I thought about today, I was like, you know what? Maybe the therapist in me needs to come out a little bit, right? And ask some questions around, like, do you have any anxiety or concerns or fears in your relationship with money? That's the one I'm throwing out at y'all right now. It's gonna get a little hard hitting today. I'm gonna get a little personal. Marquia, you want to jump out at me? What's up? Any
I'm just kind of
anxiety,
observing and
concerns, or
listening.
fears?
No, I think my viewpoint's a little bit different. Like,
Okay.
I don't necessarily commit to the idea of like designer things. Like, I buy like quote unquote expensive things when it's like, I know that this quality is better, because like I can make a rainbow dress look like it costs real money, right? So I don't really buy into labels. I usually buy like a lot of like more like Black owned or smaller business things when it comes to clothes. Again, like shoes, yeah, there's certain things like, yeah, I gotta go get like an Asics or like a Nike. But gym looks, going out looks, I'm not above a Fashion Nova. I'm not above those things. So I spend my money more wisely in those areas. I'm more like concerned about student debt because it doesn't look like it's getting canceled, things like that. Paying down credit cards, that's more my focus. I don't really care about spending my money in a way to be accepted by white people or even other Black people. I don't really give a shit about that. If I look cute, I look cute to me. So fuck yeah.
So even if you're not keeping up with the Joneses, which I respect, I'm not trying to keep up with them either. But do you have any anxiety and concerns around your relationship with money? Because then we got to get into like, what messages did you receive around money growing up, right? How did your family talk about money growing up?
I don't know if I have like anxiety anymore. Like when I was younger, yeah, but like now in my 30s, I'm just kind of like, okay, focusing on living within my means. What does this budgeting look like? Making sure that I'm more conscious of it. We didn't really have conversations about money. I remember asking my parents if we were poor at one point in time. And my mother was like, yes, but we weren't, I don't think. Or they hid it very well. Because I think like they would have like pennies in like a coffee can or something like that. Like they had their change, and I was like, are we poor? Like we're counting like change. And my mom was like, yeah, girl, sure. But I'm just I don't know, like money, I'm just I don't have stress about it anymore. There was a time when I was unemployed, and I think maybe that's why my thought process has changed. I did not have money, literally. That was stressful because I didn't have a job. I didn't know how I was going to pay for things. But now that I'm in a situation where I'm more comfortable, I'm making it work.
Okay. What about you, Kim?
I think for me, I have anxiety around sometimes like, oh, this job, right? Like there's job anxiety. I'm employable, but that doesn't mean anything. I think when you don't we don't have like sometimes confidence in things, right? I think also just sort of like, am I going to be able to take care of myself, right? Like being a single person, there's nobody to depend on if I fall. Like, you know, I was sick in a hospital. I was like, oh shit, what's going on here? What am I going to do? So I think when things happen, you start to really look at like, do I have enough? Like, where's my will? Where's this? So, or being able to take care of myself at whatever stage of life that I need. And so sometimes it's more like morbid for me in terms of like my fears in my relationship with money. Cause I can go on a bender and spend some motherfucking money. Okay. And then I'm like, oh, damn, what did I do here? You know, I like, well, let me go on that trip and I'll figure it out when I get back. I have been that person. I'm kind of still that person, but not to the extent that I was before. And so I think the messages that I received around money growing up, I didn't really receive them because we didn't talk about money, you know? So there wasn't like a, hey, let's, you know, let's get your savings and think this through. Let's think about like, how do you make sure all this stuff? So when you learn things piecemeal, it's kind of like weird versus like having it all sat down and kind of talked through and made connections for you so you understand. So I think for me, that's kind of like where I am with it. Like I had to learn it. I'm still learning it, I think, in a way that helps me, that will help me kind of like get where I need to go.
When we talk about what messages did you receive? Because I think about the message didn't have to be verbal, right? They didn't actually have to have a conversation with you, that you just saw things. I think that a lot of time in Black households, the way that we learn things is visually. We listen and we watch, right? And maybe a lot is not told of us because as kids, sometimes they tell us that we should be seen and not heard. So because of that, it's really hard for, no one's really talking to us about things. We kind of have to decipher and figure it out on our own. And we take whatever messages from there. But I think for me, my relationship with money has to come from my parents. And what I saw was they know how to spend money. Like I saw them spending money and I felt like the belief was that we'll always get more. So they weren't worried. I don't know if that was the best way because now they're older and I pretty much wish that they had more savings because maybe as their children, we wouldn't have to help them out so much. So I did see that. And then I noticed that probably in my 20s and 30s, that's how I lived my life. Like, oh, I can spend money because I'll just get it again. Like it'll just come back to me. And there's kind of nothing wrong with that a little bit, but I probably could have done more saving when I was younger. I could have put more money away than I did. So I think that now I don't really have the anxiety of like, I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. I'm not going to be able to pay my bill. No, I know for sure that where I am in my career right now, and I feel like what I do for a living, that I will be needed, right? So I'll be able to continue to make money. I think it's just about the decisions now of investing that is more of where the concern lies, right? Me making the better decision and investing my money so that when I'm ready to be done working, that I'll have enough to take care of myself. So go ahead.
Now I was just going to point out, like, none of us have children, so we don't have a mom perspective on like being able to afford the kids in the school and like their shoes,
the sports and all of the things that they do, right? Like right now, you got people talking about themselves, right? Like we are talking about ourselves. Yeah, I'm the only married one here. So, and then as a couple, right, I have someone who I can fall back on. But I think also the other message that I received, that even though my mom and dad was married, I felt like my mom was super independent. And it was always about how to make sure that if things didn't work out with my dad, that she would always be okay. And so that's another message that I took from her. And I think about like, yes, my husband is very financially stable. We're a financially stable couple, but am I financially stable without him? Yeah. And I think I was taught that I had to be financially stable without a mate, regardless of what happened, because who knows what will happen in life, that I had to make sure that I could take care of myself, and I can. And so I think that that was important. But I think that they did a really effed up job of teaching us about money, about a savings account on what you should spend money on, the importance of it. Maybe it's not the most important thing in the world. However, it gives you options. Like there was no conversation at all. And I remember as kids, we just wanted what we wanted. And I really learned like instant gratification because of them. Like it was like whatever you wanted, you got. I was 18 years old, a mink coat. I probably didn't need that, but I thought I needed it because like I saw other people around me, other older people with it, and I wanted it too. And they bought it for me. So I felt like I learned that whatever I wanted, I could have. And so, I mean, I love the abundance mindset. I mean, I think that there was a time I had a scarcity mindset, but I think at times it was too much. It was too much as a young person what I got. I got every Nike, every whatever. And then when I started making my own money, y'all, I would straight up be going to Walmart to buy a pair of jeans. And my sisters would be like clowning me, like, yo, you got jeans from Kmart and Target. I was like, because this is my own money.
You was getting
Heck
that dollar
yeah.
store lotion. We were like, okay, now. Rudy,
Yo, I
stop
could
this
still be
shit.
fly. Me and Kim was like, we don't got Nikes, we got Sykes. Marquia, I didn't care because now I'm spending my own money. I don't got $100 and some odd to buy a pair of sneakers. You crazy? I could still look cute going to Marshalls and buying the sneakers, for like $40, $50. I can make it work. Cause, so I think for me, like you said, Marquia, I've never been into labels. Cause I know I didn't need that shit to define me. I'm so much more than a Gucci bag. Like I don't need that to pop. Like I can make a cheap outfit look amazing if that's what I wanted to do. So yeah, but I'm telling you, they did a bad job with money. Good Lord. All of us.
Wow that you said
all
that.
of us
It
are
made me
screwy.
think about it. Everybody listen, and it's interesting how everybody like takes in that kind of information and then how they live their lives. Because for me, like I love travel because my mother took me every summer. We went somewhere, went to Florida every year, went to Disneyland. We did cross country one time in the van. We would go down south every summer. So, the things my mother spent on were kind of like experiences. Now I'm looking at a plane ticket like, oh, hell no. Like, what's going on here? And so but it was also the 80s. So things were easier to kind of like,
Finagle.
spend money on. Right, exactly. So let's be very clear. Like my mother would not be taking us cross country now with this gas prices high as it is. Okay. So
Sit
but
your
you're
ass
like,
down.
okay.
$8 a gallon.
Right. You better go lay down. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I
think you can do it. It's wild.
Yeah, I think my parents tried to find the balance of like we want to be parents that give our kids what they need, but also like have realistic expectations. I remember when Christmas in particular, apparently my sisters and I were very ungrateful. I know I wanted a Barbie fold-in fun house and I didn't have it at my house on Christmas.
One time for the Barbie fold-up fun house.
I was very upset. And I remember saying like, that's it on Christmas. I remember saying that because I was just like, that was the one thing I wanted. Like, and I'm very much like, if I just want this one thing. So like, yes, thanks for the clothes, thanks for these other things. But that year, like that's what I wanted. And it was at my grandma's house after that, right? But my mother like cried on Christmas. I remember that. Like my mom cried very hard because she was just like, my children are ungrateful little shits. And we were. That year we got cold the next year for Christmas. It was bad. Like, I mean, it was like a little.
Y'all got cold. Listen, your mother gave y'all real cold.
Yeah, that's next year. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was my dad. It was my dad's handwriting, but it was from Santa. But it was definitely my dad's handwriting. But yeah, like they tried to have us understand that. My dad, was very much like, just because you have money, don't let it burn a hole in your pocket. Like, you can put it aside. Or even now, if I'm like, Dad, I can pay for it, he'll be like, no, save your dollars, so we make sure that everybody's okay and they have their money together. Like he'll talk about it more now, but as kids, they made it happen. I was taking college credits and my mom was writing them checks for the $90 college credits, which sounded like a lot back then. Now people are like, what? College credit was $90. I was in high school though. But yeah, like they made shit happen. I think there was balance. I mean, I feel like the housing structure was like my dad paid for like the shelter and my mom paid for like the utilities type stuff. Because that was a dynamic. But I guess also to Ednesha's point, I was also taught that I don't need no nigga for shit. And that was a direct quote from my daddy. So he said, I don't ever want my child or children, because he has all girls, to be in a position that you have to depend on a nigga, because niggas are fickle. And I'll be damned if my child is ever in a situation that they cannot provide for themselves. Get your
Oh,
money
damn.
how you need to get your money, because I am a man and I'm telling you, niggas ain't shit. So do what you gotta do.
Wow. I got a very different message. I think the message was like, go get the money from the men. Listen, there were a lot of uncles in the lifeline and timeline. Oh, that's my grandpa. Okay. All right, cool. Hey,
I got that from my grandma. That message right there, Kim.
yo, that's that
Oh no,
old school
she was
shit.
all for like let a man take care of you, like all for it. And my mother was like, you better figure, like you better go to school, you know what I mean? Get a career, be able to take care of yourself. My grandmother came from a time when men took care of women, which I get it, I understand. And my grandfather, who I had never met, had died when my mom was like 10, but my grandma was still getting checks from him for him, right? Like in her 70s. So he was still taking care of her in his death. So for her to believe that that was the way to go, I can see why. That was her reality.
Yeah, I'm probably with your mom, just because, like, yeah, like, sure, someone can quote unquote take care of you, but like, what is the real price that you're paying, right? Because there's a level of control that you are relinquishing when you let someone
Say
quote
it
unquote take
again.
care of you, right? So
That
now,
power
well, I pay the
dynamic.
bills. What you asking me questions for, nigga? We can fight. Like, I got my own money, so what's up? Like, you want to fight? Because you
You
could
like
leave.
square up on it.
Like, who the fuck you talking to? You don't run me, and you don't run shit in here.
Yo,
Now,
my
if we have
father used to try and some my mother. My mother was like, what? Like, cause she had her own money. Like, what? Don't try me. I would hear her. Like, what? Like, you could go, buddy. And I
right,
was
the
like,
door
damn,
is
mom.
open.
I used to be crying like, mommy, don't do that to daddy. He don't know who he messing with. I'm like, okay. Like I look back now, that shit was some of the
Come through,
most,
Terry.
yeah, that stuff was jacked. But I think about the way I chose my husband. So let me be clear about this. I chose him. I got that he chose me too, but I chose him because he had an MBA and he had worked in finance for 18 years. And that was a part of my life that I needed help in. Like I needed help with investing and all of that stuff. Like it was like I ran away from money talk when I was younger because all I knew was how to spend it. So I didn't really want to talk about money. I didn't want to deal with money. I was just spending it. Right. And this is like throughout my 20s and early 30s. I had to keep it real. And so what happened was I was like, let me choose a man where if he is strong in this and I am weak, like this will be a perfect match. So like, yes, was I looking for love? Yeah, but I was looking for some other shit too.
Yeah, and not yeah, but
Yeah.
think about improv, girl. Yeah,
Yes.
and
And
you
yes.
can have both. Don't be greedy. Let's be greedy people. Be greedy,
So
girl.
I always tell him I chose you for that. And you did an okay job. You could have done better. But I'm grateful. But yes. So that's how I chose. That's how I chose my partner was based on money and the
That's
thought that
wow.
he understood money in ways that I didn't and that he can help me grow. So
That's wow. I see. I saw them old school people doing old school things when when they was working at the bar. Listen, them old dudes was sugar daddies. They was sugar daddied out in the bar joint. Like, oh shit, look at Mr. Freddie. Had the
go sit
girls
on
coming
Mr. Freddie
through.
lap. No,
Mr. No, 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 not
not you, not
no.
you.
That's different.
No, the
No.
older women was sitting on
Yeah,
Mr.
Mr.
Freddie
Freddie
lap.
had the Jerry
Yeah.
curl.
Oh,
He
I
had that
can't
gold
stop,
tooth,
please.
girl. He had that little leather jacket with the pot belly. Listen, Mr. Freddie had
And he
money
was
because
sitting on some money.
they was coming through. Oh, look at Mr. Freddie.
um,
Girl, wow.
so I think about so money, right? A lot of us when we work, some of us work because it is where we find our joy, where we find our passion. A lot of us work just for the money. So like when accepting a position, like how important is compensation, right? As we talk about money and its importance in our lives. Like how important is the compensation that you get when you choose a job? Or is it more about your passion and your desire to kind of work with that population or whatever you do?
Definitely more about, am I going to be happy?
Okay.
Money unfortunately, is not a big motivating factor for me. Like, would I love to be wealthy? Sure. Would I love to be rich? Sure. But is that a driving force? Not necessarily. Because with more money, there really do come more problems. But I think there's also something to acknowledging that people believe that now, similar to if you're in a relationship, I'm paying you X salary. You should be available at every waking moment, or I should have this much access to you. I don't play that game. Um, and even last night we had an event for work and it was a happy hour and someone was asking me about work and I said, I'm sorry, where are we at right now? This is not work. Please don't ask me about work. We could talk about it on Monday. And I think when you accept a job that's high paying, people are like, yes, I'm making all this money, I'm quote unquote successful. But what does your quality of life look like? Do you have a life outside of this money that you are chasing so aggressively? Like, are you happy? Like, yeah, you can buy things, but are you able to enjoy them? If not, then is it worth it? Because so you have money, that's great. You have a house. How often are you there? How often do you get to just rest in your bed? How often do you get to really say, like, this is my space and it makes me happy here?
That's important. I think, we discount happiness sometimes because we think money will make us happy. But I think that every study that you look at, that's not true. We want to think that it is, but we also see that there's rich celebrities out there who are not happy. So it's not the be all and end all. But I know as Black women, the studies show that we are afraid to ask for more money, be it in business or the workplace. And that our like medium annual wages are like 24,000 less than white men. And a lot of it is that we're not asking for raises. So like when we talk about, compensation and when we accept a position, we actually also have to learn how to negotiate and ask for more money. Have anyone ever had to really like negotiate and ask for more money?
Yes.
And what was that like?
Well, I mean, I've been in nonprofit for most of my career. I did a year in education, and then I did a year in social work, which is where I got all my damn gray hair from at 20 something, chasing kids in the fucking park at 1 a.m., running from their damn foster mother. But okay, well, I won't go there because that shit was stressful.
Trauma.
They did.
The trauma. Stay focused.
Yeah, stay focused, girl. And so one of my jobs, I was in a union and a position changed and it was like, okay, let me ask for this because I kind of knew like what the rules were. And I got lowballed and I was like, wait a minute, this conversation is not over. I'm going to my union because I had a place to go to help me kind of like understand how it works. Because if it was just me, I would have never got the raise. I would have never known to ask for it. So I think we're not taught those things to even know to go do them because you're gonna get lowballed anyway. You can say, well, that's not, that should be 5,000 more, whatever. We're so happy to accept sometimes the bare minimum because that's what we've been conditioned to do. Or we're so grateful that somebody gave us something.
And our self-sacrificing nature will allow us to be assertive and help someone else out, but not be assertive for ourselves, right? And advocate for ourselves.
So ask for whatever and just say, I want to enter negotiations, and you do a range. Here's the range that I feel comfortable with. And that's what they did. Don't give them a number, give them a range, and then you can negotiate. And then it's easier for you to feel like, okay, here's this, here's that. But we also have to really understand how much our labor is. We do a lot of labor that doesn't get accounted for. And so put that shit in here too for that number.
But it's also ingrained in us to put others first, right? And we talk about all the time with Black women. So that's one of the things that have to change, right? Because how do we start to prioritize ourselves? Maybe we would prioritize asking for more money and feeling like we are worthy of what we're asking for.
Right. And it's like, okay, well, I got to feed myself. I got to house and feed my damn self. This is not going to cover it. Like you have people out there have 2-3 jobs because they can't make it with just one job. And it sucks.
Yeah, and I think oftentimes the unwillingness to ask for more money is rooted in a lack of confidence, right? Like, am I worthy? It's that imposter syndrome talking as opposed to knowing that you are that person, because a lot of these folks out here scamming. Like we all have those people at work like, no, girl, how'd you get this job? Sir, how did you get this job? Because you don't know shit. So if Jonathan or Samantha is getting paid all this money and you know you have a better skill set, or you know the quality of work you produce, ask for more money. And if they're not willing to give it to you, you know, everybody done quit their jobs anyway. There's mad jobs out there right now. So go get another one. Fuck them. Go get another one.
The damn great resignation. Listen. But they say that like by us not asking for more money and negotiating, it's costing us like almost $1 million throughout our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Because we're not asking for that money. So I think we gotta have like negotiating classes for Black women. Just straight up learning how to negotiate and learning how to ask for more money. And I think it's about shifting the mindset, you know?
But here's also the other thing when you think about it. I have friends who work in non-traditional employment. They're in construction.
Mm-hmm.
It is very transparent and clear about your pay structure. Even like when you think about like the military or whatever, the army, they have all those classifications, E this, A that, one, whatever. Mm-hmm. It is directly tied to your skill set, your compensation. And if you want to move up, you know the proper way to do it, and you know the transparent way to do it. It's way too murky in the corporate world because these motherfuckers is sneaky and they don't give a fuck about us. But when you, and not to say that any other place does, but you have a very clear understanding in the path of how do you move forward in particular places that have structures like that, or that have unions or whatever. So for me, I think we need to really start looking at how do we empower women to maybe go into those kind of things, because there's money there, and sometimes you just get treated poorly no matter where you are. And sometimes you're like, okay, well, this is a necessary evil, but I understand how to move through the system. You know, it's no one teaches you that. You like, you can make mistakes. Just, I'm in this company, nobody they talking to me about values and shit that nobody else deal with. And now here we are. And now you paying me poorly and you trying to fucking like work me to death. No, thank you.
And stop saying yes to shit you don't want to do. If it's not in your job description, if you're not getting paid for it, if they're not offering you a stipend overtime, stop overworking yourself for these jobs. Please stop.
Say it again, because this is financial literacy month, y'all. Let's go out and get some financial literacy and figure this stuff out. And actually, right, I like that. Marquia, like, stop taking stuff that you don't want. There's something more out there for you. I think sometimes we are so afraid that if we don't accept this thing, that we won't get something else. You will get it. It might take a little bit more time, but you'll get it. But we got to start asking for what we deserve and knowing that we deserve it. I think that is the biggest deal. So do you guys have like a biggest money regret or mistake that you feel like you made?
Probably taking my first job because I was getting paid pennies, and then I tried to like buy a car. Like I was making less than $30,000 a year. Excuse me, just over $30,000. I think $31,000 a year at my alma mater. That costs double that in tuition. But I needed to have a car because I was tired of asking my parents for a ride. I needed to have a car, so that was tough to pay that. Not a regret though. You know, everything's a lesson. You never regret anything. You just find the lesson and move forward through it. But that was tough. And like people were really out here scamming folk. Like, why would you offer a graduate from your school a $30,000 salary when you know that the school costs double that?
They be out here being predatory, taking advantage of motherfuckers.
Oh, of course they do.
Girl. Ooh. I think my regret is a period of time. I was living it up, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was definitely not thinking about my future. I was definitely not thinking about, any bumps in the road. Okay, girl, in your 20s. Like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this. No, what I should have been doing was just putting some shit aside and being okay with it. Like, okay, do that. But I spent it all. That shit was like water, girl. So, like I could still have a good quality of life. I could have maybe been in a different position about some things. Financially, investment wise, but that's not where it is. So, and that's okay. Like you said, Marquia, it's not a regret. It's I wish I had, right? That's a regret, but not like beating myself up about it. I could have did that. That would have been nice to do. So what about you, Ednesha?
I think my biggest regret is not investing earlier in life, like not really understanding how to invest my money. It took me more time than it should have. And I remember when I was in college, like I didn't take one econ class. I was like sociology, archaeology, anthropology, like all the social sciences, right? Like I really wasn't thinking about how I can make my money grow for me, right? And how, my money can be working for me when I'm asleep, right? So I think that I wish that earlier in life I would have gotten a handle on investing and how to do it on my own, right? But you gotta let it go. I've let it go now. I've moved on, right? I'm doing a better job than I was before, and that's what matters. I can't sit in it, but I think for a while I was like, damn. And I feel like also in the pandemic, I really could have cashed out real good if I would have had some better understanding of what I should have been investing in. I don't think we all knew that the rich was getting richer in the pandemic. Like they was killing the game. And yeah, I mean, I bought some stocks, but I could have probably really made some amazing money. So
Right, but I mean, but a lot of Black women lost their jobs,
Mhm.
right? When you think about that, a lot of the jobs that disappeared during the pandemic were like not low skill, but just kind of considered that. And a lot of it was positions that Black women held. So, you know, I mean, people were going through things. So
no, of
money can
course.
insulate you from a lot of shit. I mean, let's be very clear. Money insulates you. There's a threshold between happiness in regards to your finances and misery. And guess what? That shit can bring a lot of joy and pleasure. And you can sleep well knowing that you don't owe nobody nothing because it's all taken care of, right? So
I mean, well, listen, when a pandemic first hit, as a therapist who was working in an office with people every day, for you to then tell me that I can no longer see people in person, I had no idea how it was going to impact my business. And I remember right before the pandemic in February, my sister and I were going to buy my mom a car. Right. And so right before that, I got a new credit card and I was like, I forgot how much the credit card was for, but I was like, I can just buy my mom the car on my credit card. And then me and my sister will just pay it off, whatever. And then the pandemic is hit. And then my mom is like, so what's up with my car? Lady, where are you going? And my sister and I don't know how this pandemic is going to impact our finances. So I'm not about to buy you a car. And I don't know if I'm still going to be seeing clients. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen with my livelihood. And I really had to wait and think about that and figure out how things went. I actually probably made more money in the pandemic than I made the year before because so many people started to come into therapy. But I didn't know that was going to happen. I had no idea what was going to happen with my finances. So that was a real scary moment for me. Like, I didn't know if insurance was going to pay for telehealth, like how things were going to be done. I think a lot of us, there was a huge shift for us. A lot of people had no idea how the pandemic was going to impact them.
yeah, I mean, I think the pandemic has really shifted, how you have to think about your finances. For some people, it made them reevaluate, right? Like the things that they're spending their money on because they didn't have access to those things. They have more money. For a lot of people, it may have costed them more money, maybe because they took on more responsibilities or their funds dried up because they didn't have a job or they had to give up their apartment because they couldn't afford it. So I think you had a mixed bag of like financial situationships during the pandemic. And unfortunately a lot of people suffered um from it. And like you said, there were also people who gained leaps and bounds from it. So it's a very I think when they look back like 10 years later on this time period, we'll have so much information because we were in it. We wouldn't even know what was going on.
I feel like the pandemic really just made people realize how much they didn't need a lot of things to spend their money on. Like, I didn't need to go to restaurants. Like, there's a social aspect that's cool or whatever, but like a lot of restaurants are trash. Like, have y'all noticed that? Like, you can probably cook way better than what your restaurants are doing for you. Um, So that was one thing I noticed. I saved a lot of money. I wasn't buying clothes. I wasn't wasting money on things. I mean, I was like buying shit because like, yeah, we had like more money because we weren't doing things. So I was like buying shit on Amazon. But for the most part, I just realized like I didn't have to buy all this dumbass shit that I was buying because I was in my house and there was peace in my home. And I kind of still keep that up for the most part now.
Hey girl, hey, listen, I got debt free during the pandemic. You know, this damn business brought me back in. Like, oh, okay, hey, we back, but it's an investment, right? So, but I got debt free, like personally debt free, like paid down them credit cards on that dumb shit I was buying, you know, that I enjoyed very much so, plane tickets and things. Let's not, you know, disregard it, you know, but like you said, the frivolous things like, oh, cab fare to this bar, this club, this drink, blah, 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 this round. Yeah, this crappy dish that they just heating that shit up in the microwave anyway. They not making that shit. So yeah, I think a lot of people, I hope that a lot of people, you know, are paying attention to their finances now simply because, you know, your quality of life is sometimes determined by how much you can do, right? You know, if all your money goes to your rent, you can't do much, you're gonna stay home. Or you're gonna find other means. Or you have to figure out, you know, how does your good time look different if it's not about spending money? So
Yeah, these are all things that we have to think more about, right? And this is something that we never thought would happen. So let's be clear. So are you prepared for an emergency? I think that that's really what this pandemic showed us, right? Like in an emergency, are you prepared? Do you have a month's worth, 6 months worth of income, right? Saved if anything happens. And, you know, all the statistics show that as Americans, we're like one emergency away from being in a really bad place. And so thinking more about it is going to become really important. So, what's one money habit that you guys admire about yourself? We talked about some regrets. What's a money habit that you actually admire about yourself?
girl, I don't know. I don't have
Sorry,
admirable
one.
habits. I ain't gonna lie. Listen, I pay the bill. Somebody asks me for some money, I give it to them. You know, I just see a plane ticket. I'm like, let me figure out when I can buy it. I think one money habit is I will not bring myself into a debt that I can't pay. Like I'm never gonna ask someone for something knowing I can't pay them back.
Okay.
Because there'd be a lot of motherfuckers. You'd be like, well, where my money at? They'd be like, all
Mhm.
right, I got you. You got me when? Because I feel like I gave you that a long time ago. You know, so I don't like somebody to, you know, just because I've seen how people have behaved when somebody owed the money. I don't want somebody saying some shit like that about me. And so I'm like, if I don't got it, I don't got it. And it's got to be no, because, or I'm like, okay, if it's small enough, I can ask someone knowing that I could pay it back. But I'm never going to ask nobody for no damn $5,000, $10,000. That shit is out the door. So, you know.
Um, I guess I admire about myself that I don't need labels and expensive things to know my worth. So that is easy for me because now I don't spend my money on things that I really don't need. Right? I actually spend my money mostly on experiences. And so I like that about me. That like I'll spend my money on experiences because I'll always have that. Um, and you know, I pay more attention to like what I'm spending my money on, right? Like I'll go buy in bulk at Costco. Like I do all those things now. It feels like I'm truly adulting now. It's so interesting. I feel like I'm really adulting in ways that in my 20s, I just didn't even care. I don't know what I was doing. It was like if it's gone, I get paid again next week. And so it's nice not to live check to check. I have to say, really nice.
I'd probably say for myself, similar to Kim, I don't give out money that I can't afford to give, and I don't ask for money that it's going to take me an extended time period to pay back. I remember I borrowed money from a friend once when I was younger, and they were horrible about grace as far like obviously I asked you to borrow it, nigga, because I didn't have it, and it was like, well, where's my money? And I was like, oh, never again. Yeah, I got that. Um, but if I can do it, I will. Um, I believe that it will come back, right? I don't believe in being stingy in that regard. If I can help you, I definitely will. You know, it's just good karma, and ultimately it will come back to you. So, but yeah, definitely I'm not borrowing money I can't pay back, dog.
So that shit is the worst. You like, why are you acting like that? Okay. You didn't have
Yeah,
to
I
do
mean,
me like that.
I think people try to pull you into their bad money decisions, right? Don't come borrow money from me that you can't give me back. That's a bad decision on your part. You're not about to have me make a bad decision by giving you the money. So I'm not about to do it. Um, so so
You know,
I
if they need it though, you don't want to see people suffer. That's usually where I come from. Like, oh, they need it.
mm,
Listen,
Black
that's it.
women, we got to start prioritizing
Mm.
ourselves, not sacrificing for others.
Listen, you know what's so interesting? That's part of the study. They said most people don't get out of poverty because they're so busy helping to pull other people up.
Hmm.
Like my check is y'all check. Oh shit.
That got to stop. That don't make no sense. Ain't nobody out here working these hours I'm working with me. I don't work in tandem with somebody next to me all day. So I'm gonna give you some of my money. I think that what I realized being one of 7 children, 7 grandchildren, extended family, that people will allow you to be responsible so others can be irresponsible. And I had to really learn that I had to stop that. I can't be over here being super responsible while one of my family members are being irresponsible and they're going to come ask me for help. No, I can't do it. There's the boundary that I talked about earlier. I'm working on it. I'm just like, no. I used to say, my therapist said, now I just say no. It's coming from me. I don't need to talk to my therapist about it no more. I said it. No. So I think, it's not an easy thing to learn growing up in a Black family, right? Because we've been taught that we just help each other. Whatever you need, I'm there. But sometimes we got to decide, like, no, I can't do that for you. You got to do it for yourself. What do you guys think are some takeaways for Black women, like in their money, right? Like, as we kind of end this. So I think I mentioned this earlier, but I think money experts suggest that you should have enough in your checking account to cover 1 month's expenses, plus the cost of one unexpected expense. So if you are listening to this podcast, think about what you have in your account. And then your savings account should be a minimum of 6 months of living expenses. And investment accounts, you should invest money from each of your paychecks. These are just like some, when you look at all like the blogs on money and things like that, these are the things that they're saying that you should be doing.
I remember my mother had like strong armed me into getting a retirement account through work. And I do have them set up from every job that I've been at. Not that I've been at like 15 jobs, but I do have more than one retirement account where the employer does match the contributions. And I do have, access to that money for whenever I say I'm tired of this working shit. And, you know, decide to chill out and, retire or whatever.
I'm still from the therapist, but go to therapy. Discuss where your money beliefs come from because they will either limit you or free you.
Mm.
And it's a lot of people out there that have scarcity mindset because they didn't have it growing up. And so if they didn't eat and they remember that, that's why they always, climbing, clawing to get the money, and it's never enough. That's the thing. Just because you have it, that don't mean it hasn't mentally impacted you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, the painful memories that may be attached from childhood with your upbringing or being denied things. I remember when I talked about my damn guitar I ain't get. God damn it. Why I ain't get a guitar, Beverly?
If you listening,
That's it.
Beverly, she's still mad.
Why I ain't get a guitar? I could have been in music. Anywho. So there's that. But I would also like to add, like, for end of life stuff, get your ass a will. Stop
Mm-hmm.
leaving all your shit for the people behind. You gotta do GoFundMe's because your ass didn't do nothing about your fucking life. Set yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is about longevity. Like, how do you ensure you're through? You're that it don't run out. Because if you 80, your quality of life is going to be impacted too. So I think it's not just about right now. Like, these are the vehicles and things you can set up, but there's so much more. You have to really think about like your life as a spectrum and what's going to be upheld in the next 10 to 20 years, or if God forbid something happens to you, or at the very end, like, you
You need a whole
on
team.
hospice.
You need a
Like,
financial
look,
planner, a tax professional, estate planner. Like we need all of it. So we have to
go
start
on
looking at
Google
this.
and YouTube, and you don't have to pay nobody. Go buy the damn book. Like, people have written books. Like, expense something being too expensive is not the case anymore. You can go find information. Information is free. You
That's
can go
right.
get your damn taxes done by the IRS if you make a particular amount of money at a threshold. They'll do the shit for free. You know, go buy a book and fill out the information. Just let people know what's going on. Doing a financial assessment, like, where's your money going?
That's right. And if you need any type of advice or help, you can check out Clever Girl Finance and the Budgetnista. Both of them are Black women.
And the
They'll
broke
help you
black girl.
to increase your knowledge. Yeah. So there's places out there you can go. And there's also go to thefinancialgym.com. They help you kind of get in shape same way you would go to the gym and get in shape. They help you get your money in shape. So it's called thefinancialgym.com. I actually have a meeting with them in 2 weeks to kind of help me get some things in order. So the information is out there, guys. You just have to go out and find it. So we told you go to Clever Girl Finance, the Budgetnista, and what was the other one, Kim?
Broke black girl.
Broke Black Girl, and then check out the Financial Gym, financialgym.com. So the information is out there, guys. The resources, the tools are out there. We just have to go get it. We can be better with our money. Right now, there's nothing that I can't say there's nothing, but right now, the financial, the wage gap is still what it is, right? I don't know when that's going to change, but we can start asking for more money. We can start figuring out what we deserve and start asking for it. We can start learning how to negotiate, finding someone who can teach us how to negotiate. Those are things that we can do.
We
Now,
can leave that damn job and go get another one because we tired of getting paid at that level, and go find
Institutional
something
racism
else.
still exists. It's not what we can do about that right now, but we can make sure we get ours. And we can say no. I'm about to say no to a job right now because they ain't trying to pay me what I'm worth. And, it was hard for me, but yeah, I'm sending that email tomorrow. That's that. So,
whom it may concern.
That's right.
So
Hell no. All right, y'all, are we signing out? Is that what we're doing?
I think so. Thank you all, as always, for listening to the Black Woman Behold podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode and every episode. You can find us anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple. I think we still have a YouTube page, Kim.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, YouTube as well. If you're not into the subscription life and you just want to be, rogue, you can do that. We have a website, blackwomanbehold.com. We have an Instagram and Facebook, Black Woman Behold. We have a newsletter. If you want to keep up with everything that's going on, you can sign up for that and listen to and find out what we're doing next. Check out our subscribe to that so we can be in your inbox and give you updates. And also don't forget that we do have our playbook, Are You Okay, Sis, out now, available for you to purchase so that you can start doing your own healing work. Remember, healing is not linear. It might take more than one time to solve something. And it doesn't always have to be hard, hence why we're making it a playbook. So hopefully you'll catch us in one of those different forms, and we will catch you on the next episode. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Bye, guys.